Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to share 3 ways to help your makeup look more natural. I feel like that's a common fear among a lot of people who are either just barely getting into makeup or not as interested in makeup. Maybe you don't have that much experience and your biggest fear is your makeup not looking natural. I'm here to tell you that it's possible, but sometimes it does take a couple of extra tips. These are tips that I've learned along the way. I've been teaching makeup tutorials here on YouTube for over 8 years. I've also been obsessed with makeup since I could wear it at 12 years old. So through a lot of trial and error, I've really found so many fabulous ways to make sure that your makeup isn't looking makeup-y. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people just don't even wear makeup because they don't want to risk it looking unnatural, which I totally understand. But it's always been my goal to be able to do my own personal makeup in a way that boosts my confidence and also in a way that makes me feel creative while also making sure that it looks good, not just on camera, but in person. And I feel like I've really mastered this because, under the camera lights is one thing, but I will say, not to toot my own horn, but I have been complimented several times about how good my makeup looks in person, okay? So these are just 3 tips. These are simple things. There's obviously a lot more I could share with you, but these are the 3 things that I think if you implement these, you're gonna see a big difference in how your makeup looks and how it wears and how skin-like it looks. For me personally, when I feel like people are scared of their makeup not looking natural, I feel like most of the time they're referring to their complexion products, which that's the biggest part of the face. You can have things go wrong, I guess, with your eyes, maybe even your lips, and not notice them as much as if something's going wrong with the complexion. So my tips for you today are focused on complexion. If you want more tips in the future, let me know. But let's dive into the first step, which you guys have already heard about, but it's skin prep. Prepping the skin before makeup is so important. And let me kind of explain why I feel like it's important. And maybe you've heard it explained like this, but just in case. Here we go. Obviously, your complexion is your canvas and you want to prime your canvas before going in with any product. The condition and overall health of your skin will always make a difference in how well your makeup looks and how well it applies as well. Picture like painting a wall. If you were trying to take a really high quality paint and go over a super rough, dry area on a wall, the color might look nice, and there might be some things that look better than before, but you're always gonna see that underlying dryness. It's not gonna lay as smoothly as, say, it would over a more smooth wall. So kind of picture your face as the wall, your foundation products as the paint, and you wanna kind of make sure that your skin really is prepped and primed and ready to go for makeup. Now, this obviously goes way before makeup in taking care of yourself in ways like drinking a lot of water, making sure you're taking lots of vitamins, making sure you have a good, solid, consistent skincare routine. It doesn't have to be extensive, just something consistent. And then before you go into your makeup, make sure it's prepped. I like to prep my skin with just a moisturizer that works really well with makeup. So today I used the Embryolisse Lait Cream Concentrate. This is a really great one. This one is definitely geared toward more dry skin, but find a moisturizer or just use your favorite moisturizer. I'd say at least 5 to 10 minutes before doing your makeup. Let it sink in a little bit. And then your skin's gonna be nice and hydrated and plumped and ready to receive any complexion products. So that is my tip number 1. My tip number 2, when it's time to do your makeup, especially with complexion products, don't apply anything directly to the skin. I feel like it's such a trend and it's obviously very visually appealing to see somebody take like a serum dropper and like dollop the whole thing across the face, or even foundation, just like dropping it directly onto the face. And while that looks fun and it's entertaining on social media, in real life, I highly recommend always applying any product when it comes to complexion onto your hand first. This is where brushes really come in handy too, so make sure you've got a good brush set. Again, you don't have to spend a ton to get nice brushes, but by applying your foundation on your hand first, that way you don't overdo the product up front. I feel like that's the main thing to remember from this video is less is more. It's always easiest to build up more product than it is to take off too much. And for you to really have control over that aspect is to put it on the back of your hand, use a brush or a sponge from there and take a tiny bit off of your dollop of foundation and then go into the skin. That way you have a lot more control in the amount of product that you're applying, which makes a huge difference in how natural your makeup ends up looking like at the end of your routine. Now I understand a lot of times, especially if you have acne prone skin or anything you're trying to cover up on the skin, it can be so tempting to try to apply too much. I know this from experience. I struggled with acne for over 15 years, okay? So I've just barely gotten it under control and I still have the occasional breakout, but there was a solid decade at least where I had acne every single day. And so what I would recommend for you, because again, I understand, and makeup is a great tool to help kind of boost confidence in that way, but you can still use the same tip, and I would recommend doing the same thing, applying the foundation on the back of your hand, especially if it's a more full coverage foundation, and lightly building up the coverage, because you'll find that a lot of times when you have acne, there's certain blemishes that are more prominent than others. So going in with a more thin layer is actually going to get rid of a lot of the discoloration that you might be seeing. And then from there, you can add and spot correct a little bit more over the spots that you're wanting to add more coverage on, instead of continuing to add layers and layers across the whole face. That will really help in your end result. I like to do this even when it comes to bronzer. I'll take my bronzer and put it on the back of my hand. Not only does this warm up the product so it helps it blend better, but you have so much more control and then you don't overdo it. I also do this with liquid blushes. You can also do this with powder, believe it or not. I will either take a brush or a puff like I used today, dip it into the powder, and then I'll press it into my hand first. Then I'll go into my face. Because sometimes if you go straight from the powder right on the face, it's almost too late sometimes where you've got too much on, and it's a lot harder, like I said, to undo too much product than it is to add more. Even when it comes to your powder blushes, you can take a brush, dip the brush into the pan, and then push the product into like the palm of your hands or the back of your hands to just really make sure that it's evenly distributed through the brush, but also you get rid of that excess product so you have more control, and then you can build it up really naturally. My third tip for you guys is one that I feel like might be a little underrated for a lot of people. This is a category where it makes sense, especially if you're not super well versed with makeup. This might be a step that you don't want to spend money on, which I understand, but I'm here to tell you. When it comes to your makeup looking really natural, especially with the end result, which is what we're going for, a setting spray is so key. You're gonna wanna find a setting spray that suits your skin type, because a lot of them can be a little bit more drying. So for example, this one size on Till Dawn, this would be amazing for more oily skin types. This one's gonna kind of lock in the makeup a little bit more. If you want things to really melt into the skin, I would recommend more of like a skin mist. This one from Lisa Eldridge is really nice and hydrating, but I personally love the CALIRAY one. I think it's a great middle ground. It has a little bit more of like a hydrating property to it. It's clean and hydrating and it's long wear. So you still get the longevity that comes with a good setting spray, but it's not drying. So this one for me, I have combination skin. This is a go-to for me. But again, you can kind of look for a setting spray that's going to suit your skin type the best. What a setting spray does essentially, besides helping your makeup last longer, is if you have any powdery finish on the skin, it just puts a layer on top and melts it into the skin. It's kind of like a little sandwich, so to speak. So you've got your prepped skin, which brings moisture to the face. Then you've got your products in the middle, even if you use powders. And then the sandwich on the outside is going to be a setting spray. And those two together will melt into the makeup layer and just make it look way more natural in the finish. And it will just look more like skin instead of having a foundation sit on top of dryness or texture or whatever it is. Priming and setting really are such key steps in making sure your makeup looks natural. So there you have it. Those are my 3 tips in making your makeup look more natural. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you like this style of video, and let me know if you would like to hear more of my makeup tips. I've been doing this for a really long time, and it's my personal main goal, whether I'm doing my own makeup or somebody else's makeup, to always make them feel like their best selves. And what comes with that is making them feel like their makeup looks natural. Of course, there's fun elements to play with. If you've got a purple eyeshadow or a blue eyeliner or a red lip, that's not necessarily natural looking colors, but there's a way to really pull that off if you're able to balance everything else, and the complexion especially looks fresh and it looks like everything is just coming from your skin. So I really hope these tips were helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you end up trying these things and how they end up working out for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.